SpaceX just put their license out for 4,400 satellites. How does Boeing compete?
The real challenge is efficiency. When your biggest run of satellites might be 12 satellites, going from 12 to 1,000 or 4,000 is a huge change. And so you really have to look at your whole assembly process, manufacturing process.
The small sat companies are sort of anything goes, let's shoot it up, let's try it. And if I would like to try and sell our thrusters to an Air Force contract, let's say, they need to know that it's flown in space, and then that it's flown in space again. Oh, and by the way, can you manufacture, at least 10 or 100 or 1,000 a year for us?
Is Boeing looking to play the we're going to do it ourselves game because we can control cost and schedule, or are they going to go to companies like Phase 4?
We're probably not going to design a new thruster or a new, electric thruster. And so going to those experts and maybe working with them. Boeing is a big company, does lots of manufacturing of airplanes you may have heard of. And so those large production capabilities, perhaps extending some of those and the lessons learned from those, perhaps teaming with some of the component suppliers could be a benefit.
Cost is one of our biggest constraints, as well as volume in the small sat world. There's definitely a shared interest in understanding who the stakeholders are at the bigger companies. I have to go into a large, well-established company and not only convince the chief engineer, chief technologist, but I also have to convince the business development person to invest in this, nascent market that's some tiny decimal fraction of their balance sheet.
We have to do things where we try to say, well, we're doing the spirit of the law, but we're not necessarily doing the letter of the law from these stacks of process documents. It's a challenge to sort of draw on that and say, here's what worked, here's how we apply it. It's like, yeah, that works great when you have a staff of 200 people. Your team is much smaller. You can't do the things that the large organization would ask you to do.
The inherent conflict of a startup is trying to do things quick and trying not to run out of money to be able to do that level of mission assurance that the Air Force or Boeing types need. I've hired a lot of folks that have had experience at those bigger companies. They bring in some of those practices so they understand what the large companies are looking for.
How do you reconcile innovation with the reality of space?
We figure out where the innovation has a match in the market by then going out and talking to everyone. People with an idea, people that want, SpaceX types that want to go, put the internet in space. Now we're actually talking to small satellite launch vehicle companies as well.
From my perspective, it's what is the mission? What is it we're actually going to do with these satellites? And looking at innovation in that regard to say, what mission is not served right now? Just having the technology for technology's sake isn't sort of what the real innovation. The innovation is the thing that changes our lives.
Any company has the opportunity to also innovate on the business side of things. So we can look at interesting business models right now, perhaps a way to lease our propulsion system from us and sort of pay, I like to call it plasma as a service.
Instead of procuring platforms, procure services. Maybe we build the satellites on our own dime, but we're providing a service and we're going to we'll make the money on the back end with the data. With these large constellations we're talking about, and even what's up there now, there is a big opportunity there for aggregation of data. Once you get the data coming down, what are all the ways that you can utilize that data? I think that is a growth area, and we're going to see a lot more.